Awesome! Hi guys! Welcome back again. This is my second video in the line of non-book review videos, and in this one I'm going to talk about hormonal contraception. Woo! I don't know what I'm pointing at. What's over there? God knows. Okay, so yeah, let's get talking about this. So yeah, hormonal contraception. It's something that is so normalized in today's society. When a girl gets to 15, 16, she's got boobs, she's got a moon time, she's practically a woman, and everybody freaks out. Everybody freaks out. Quick, get her down, let's go get the pill. You know, we need her to be safe, she's going to be sexually active soon. We don't want an unplanned pregnancy. Oh my god, what do we do? Oh, we'll give her the pill and that'll be fine. It'll all be fine. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Done, sorted, out the door. No, I don't think that should be just the only thing that they do. Unfortunately, for most of us, including myself, this was the case. It was like, oh my god, you hit 16 or 15, 16, whatever, and it seems to be like the only option. It seems to be like you go to the doctor or whatever and you're freaking out yourself. You're having your very first not your very first, but like your first experience of womanhood. There's all this pain, there's all this pressure, there's all this extra stuff that you have to worry about, and the doctor goes, it's okay, take this pill and you'll be fine. And then you take the pill and you're not fine. You're in pain even more, you're freaking out even more, you have all these weird side effects that aren't normal. Oh, it's just insane. And it seems to be like that is it. When I first went to the doctor and they offered me the pill for really bad, like painful periods and things like that, I was very heavy flow. It was agony. I couldn't move. I would be like scrunched up on the bed, and there was nothing that would ease it. And I didn't want to take paracetamol and things like that because I just didn't want to take them. So this is what they offered me. They were like, oh, if you take this every month, it'll get lighter and lighter and lighter, and it'll be fine. You might even stop having a period, and that'll be amazing. And I remember thinking at the time, what, stop it completely? That seems a bit, I don't really want it to stop completely. I kind of want it to be there, but not as painful. It was strange. It hit me wrong. It was very, so the very first pill they gave me was microgynon, which was made in the 80s. So that was like one of the first ones that was made. And that is the one that has probably the most problems with it, has the most side effects. A lot of people are okay on it. You know, people can be alright on these ones. But microgynon, it messed me up. I was about to swear. It really effed me up big time. Within the first 2 months of taking it, I put on like a stone. I was so heavy, I was bloated, my boobs were like a ding, like I was already a good double D, but then they went right up to an F, and it was like, holy crap, where have these come from? And they were dead perky. They used to sit like right up there, nearly on my neck. That was weird. I started to get like these weird headaches. I started to be like really migraine-y across the top of my head. My eyes would get sore. I kept imagining constantly that I was pregnant. I kept thinking, oh my god, I'm pregnant, even though I hadn't had sex or anything. It was so weird. But yeah, those were all side effects from microgynon, and I got every single one of them. And the acne as well. That appeared out of nowhere. My skin has always been dead clear. All of a sudden I got acne right across my chest and across here and up there. Oh, it was so weird. I had to get off it. It was driving me crazy, and the partner that I had at the time, it was driving him crazy as well, because I was acting like a psycho. That was not a really good experience. So yeah, I go back to the doctor and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get these symptoms. I'm starting to get pains in my legs. Is this normal? The doctor then is like, oh my god, this isn't normal. This might mean that you've got deep tissue thrombosis or something like that, which is like a blood clot that is caused by microgynon. I wasn't told about any of this before they just handed me a pill. Obviously it's in your little leaflet and stuff, and you kind of like look over it and go, it says that it's rare or whatever, but I didn't realise how like it could just happen. So yeah, they were like, right, let's get you off that straight away. And then they put me onto Yasmin pill. this was a lot better, to be fair. A lot of the side effects, this is a newer brand of pill that they brought out, and it eradicates a lot of the side effects. It still does the same job, but takes away a lot of those side effects that microgynon had. It was a lot better, but still with the bloating and the pain and this awful heavy feeling all the time. I just felt so heavy all the time. My boobs were still massive, ridiculously massive. It just wasn't nice. I just didn't like it. I didn't like feeling like that. It felt so unnatural. I felt so, ugh. I can't even describe it. I just felt weird being on hormones. And then I thought, right, okay, next thing. I'm starting to go out more. I'm starting to drink, you know, going out on nights out, off to like rock nights on a Thursday, this kind of thing. I was kind of like, oh, I'm getting really drunk and stuff, and then I'm forgetting to take it. And I thought, oh God, there's got to be another option to this. This is ridiculous, taking this pill every day. There's got to be another option. So I went back again. So I was on that for a year. I was on microgynon for a year. I was on Yasmin for another year, so it was 2 years. And then I went back again. And I was like, okay, in September, I'm actually going to Liverpool to university for 3 years. And I don't know what to do, not really sure what I'm thinking about. I don't know if there's another option for me or whatever. And they went, oh, you could have the implant. And it's a tiny little bar, and they put it in your arm. I still have a scar, can't take this top off. I still have a tiny little scar, but they basically put it in the tissue on this arm. So it takes like a very 5-minute little procedure, and they don't like knock you out or anything like that. It's just a little bit of local anaesthetic, and they just make a little slice and they just slip it in under the skin, and that's it. A little plaster on it, out the door you go. And that is you protected for 3 years from pregnancy. My experience with the implant was strange. When it first went in, it took about 2 months or so for everything to be kind of normal again, moon time wise, cycle wise, and then it kind of disappeared. Moon time disappeared for a long time. I wouldn't bleed for 5 months, and then all of a sudden it would come and I would bleed for like a month, or maybe like 3 to 4 weeks. It was ridiculous. It was just like a constant flow, and it was like, in my head I was like, oh my God, for 5 months I've had a drought, and then it's all just built up and then it's all just come out again. So I'd be going to the doctor saying like, is this normal? And they just basically say, well, everybody acts differently to these different hormones, and this is just how you're reacting to it, and it takes about 6 months for it to regulate. Now that really annoyed me, because they used to say that about every single microgynon, Yasmin, implant, whatever you have. They say like, oh, it takes 6 months for it to regulate, and that means you're stuck on this thing for 6 months if you really, really hate it. Like I know, for example, a good friend of mine, she got the coil in and she bled every single day. She bled for months. It was just non-stop. She was so anemic from bleeding all the time. She was fainting, collapsing. She was trying to eat steak and protein, eating nuts and stuff, like trying to build up her protein, and they wouldn't take it out. They were like, oh, well, after 6 months it'll be fine. No, it was just agony. So she went down to A&E and was like, I want this out of me right now. And I think they did eventually take it out because it was just getting ridiculous. Like, her body just did not want it at all, didn't react well to it. But yeah, that bit of information always irritated me. Oh, just like, oh, 6 months stuck in this thing. Anyway, so yeah, implant, in for 3 years. That was weird, yeah. The start was very, very rocky, and then, like I said, the no bleeding and stuff, and that started to freak me out, and I didn't like it. And then I got with my partner that I'm with now, and it was just crazy. I didn't like it. I didn't like feeling unnatural. I didn't like feeling like this all the time. It affected me mentally. A lot of the hormones affected me mentally. I was very depressed. I was very down, like, oh, just feeling suicidal a lot of the time. And I knew it was the hormones. I could feel it, because I could instantly just click and be like, oh, I'm actually happy again. I'm okay. And now I'm really down again. Kind of like Eeyore and Tigger combined. It was really weird. So yeah, off I go back to the doctor again. Actually, I waited my 3 years, and I found my little card. When you get the implant in, they'll give you a little card with a date of when to get it out. I was in Liverpool when I had to get it out. and I took the card down to the doctor and was like, oh shit, this needs to come out like a month ago. And they were like, oh, it's fine. Most implants actually last. They say that it lasts for 3 years, but that's just them kind of gauging it. That it does actually last about 3.5 to 4 years. So if you do forget about it, you've got like this kind of like extended time to get it out, and if you do forget, which is kind of handy. So off I went down, and it was quite scary actually. I was kind of scared getting it out. It was really strange. She was very, very nice. She was lovely to me. But yeah, just another little cut right on the same part, the exact same scar. Mine never moved. Although when I did start like exercising and stuff and like lifting kind of like heavy weight and stuff like that, when I would know whenever I flex my muscle that the implant would jump around. It would like jump from here and kind of move. It was really weird, and I could always feel it, like just sitting like this, I could always feel it in my arm for the 3 years as well. It never like numbed or never went like away. You were always aware of it being there, which was weird because you always knew that there was a foreign body in your body. It was really strange. Didn't like it. And then there was all the horror stories of people's implants travelling down their arm. And this tennis player woman, she actually had her implant in her wrist because she was, you know, doing her tennis, and it had moved because of the momentum of her using the racket. And I was just always freaked out thinking, oh, it's going to end up in my wrist someday. It's going to be in my hand. I'm going to wake up and it's there. But it never did. Thank God. So yeah, I went down, she cut me open and she popped it out. It wasn't even that painful. It was actually okay. I think my nerves were still a bit like, oh, this is like, oh, a little bit of a procedure. And then she took it out. And I was actually fascinated. I actually watched her take it out because I just found it dead interesting. I watched her and she took it out, and it was just, after 3 years of having that, it was just this tiny little bar. It was like nothing, but it caused me so much like mayhem in my own body. And she was all like, do you want to see it? And I was like, yeah. I kind of wanted to take a picture, but I was too afraid to ask her at the time. And I just looked at it and was just like, wow, that is crazy. That tiny little thing gave me all those mental episodes. It was so like, oh, it was mental. Anyway, so next step, she sits me down and she was like, okay, now that we've took that out, you're free to make a choice on what you want. And she launched into, we've got the pill, we've got the mini pill, progesterone only, estrogen, whatever. Oh, we could also pop another implant back in, that would be good. We've got one that can last for 5 years, we can put that in. Or what about a coil, would you be interested in that? And I kind of sat there and was like, I'd prepared for it to an extent, and I kind of just very quietly said, I'm actually interested in a non-hormonal option. I've been on hormones since I was 16, so I've been on hormones for 5 years. I don't know the damage that this has done to my body. I know that there's a lot of research that says that, oh, your fertility returns to normal and all this kind of thing, which is fine. I'm not planning to get pregnant, by the way, I just want to be natural. And she was kind of like a bit, okay, what about this coil? This one's the copper coil, and we can use that, we put that in, and it just changes the pH of your cervix and that, and it means it basically works the same way, but it's not hormonal, it doesn't enter the bloodstream, it just like changes all down there. And I remembered a story about my sister that had used it, and she didn't like it and it didn't react well with her. And I think my cousin as well had used it and she didn't have a good reaction, so I kind of thought, if they didn't have good reactions, I might not have a good reaction. And I wasn't too fussed on the idea of it, and I kind of said, no, I'm not really interested in that. And I know that there's condoms available, I know that there's female condoms that are available, but is there anything else? And she sort of sat back in her chair a little bit. I don't think she'd been asked this, and she just kind of looked at me and was like, there is the diaphragm, have you heard about that, or the cap? And I kind of went, not really, don't really know much about it. And she told me a bit about it. Yeah, it's all you basically do is you insert it just before you have sex, or you can put it in whenever, really. It doesn't do anything, doesn't damage you in any kind of way, there's no toxins, no harmful chemicals or anything like that. You just pop it over your cervix, and then when you have intercourse, it means that the sperm cannot meet the egg because obviously there's a little barrier. and that's it. And I kind of thought, well, that's a damn good idea. Yeah, let's try that. And she launched into a whole thing of they're actually really difficult. It went very negative. It was like, oh well, they're actually really difficult to put in. You're going to have to come in, lie up on the bed kind of thing, and you're going to have to let us put it in for you. And this kind of was like, oh, okay. To be honest, I'm not really bothered. You know, at some point somebody's going to be hoking down there, whether it be during childbirth or whatever, someone's going to be hoking down there. So I thought, go ahead, why not? So she was kind of like, oh, right, okay. We got talking, and then I mentioned, oh, by the way, I use a moon cup. Don't know how it came up, we just were chatting, and she was just like, oh my god, you use a moon cup, that's amazing. And she instantly changed, like she was just like so helpful all of a sudden, and she came, she was like, hang on a second, I've got the perfect thing for you. She disappeared. She comes back in with one of these in a little box. Hang on, the box is a bit tatty. One of these, Caya, and this is a new kind of diaphragm that they had just developed. And she said, I can't give you this one because this is only like the model, like the floor model kind of thing, for training for the other nurses. And I was like, oh, that's fine. She said, we're actually getting some of these in the next couple of weeks. Would you be interested in trying them? You'll be the first girl in Liverpool to have one. And I was like, yeah, I'll be a pioneer for you. No way. Yeah, of course I will. Go for it. So she books me in to come back again. Came back again, and she had like another girl with her, another nurse, and she was like, oh, do you mind if this girl like does training with me? It's like, yeah, whatever, go for it. Okay. And she pops me up on the bed, and she's like, right, are you ready for this? Like me, like butt naked from the belly button down. And then she shows me this little guy. Ta-da! Well, I'd seen it before, like I'd seen the model, but then she shows me the one that I'm getting, and that's this one. And that's what it looks like. Again, like the moon cup, it's dead squishy. This is how it goes in. You gently squeeze the sides, you pop it in and under, and that's it. And your cervix just sits in here, and that's it. And then when you want to take it out, you just put your finger into the little hole and then pull it out, and that's it. That's very simple. Oh, you put a little bit of spermicide just in the cup part, just here, and that's it. And it works as well like a lube, so it's like easy, like insert and take out. So yeah, handy as anything. I was not prepared for her putting it in for the first time. That was the first time anybody had ever, you know, been in that area kind of thing. That was a bit like, whew. Yeah, that was frightening. So if you are thinking about going for it and whatever, the advice I can give you is drink water before you go to your first appointment and relax. I remember thinking to myself when she was about to do it, I was nervous, I was tense, I was tight, and I just remember thinking, okay, relax, it's going to hurt more if you are tense and tight, just relax. And I just remember thinking, just go for it. And in she put it. It was fine. You don't feel it. You honestly don't feel it. Your partner doesn't feel it. That's usually the first question that everybody asks me if I tell them that I've got this. Oh, is it not really uncomfortable? You can feel this like thing there, and then your partner feels it, and it's weird. And I'm like, trust me, his bits are not that big to touch your cervix, okay? And if they are, nice one. Yeah, so he can't feel it. If he can feel it, by the way, if you do manage to get one or you want to go for one, if he does feel it, that means it's just slipped out of place a little bit. You'll need to stop and just readjust. So yeah, that first appointment, she put it in. I get up, I move about, and I'm like, I can't feel anything. It feels really comfortable. There's nothing. There's just nothingness. That was fine. So I get up again. She takes it out, and she's like, right, now you try and put it in. I tried the first 2 times and couldn't get it in properly. I couldn't just get it right under the cervix properly. And it was like, I knew that I hadn't got it in because you can feel it. And she did say to me that I'm a little bit smaller than the average size. The way this is designed is that it's new and innovative because it's one size fits all. which is the design that they went for. So this should fit like any woman. But for me, I find it just a little bit big. I've got a small cervix. But yeah, the first 2 times, and I could feel it, and I knew that it wasn't in the right place. It's the same with Moon Cup. When you put that in, you know, you can't feel it, but you know if you do feel it, you're like, oh, that's not in the right place, I need to go and fix that. Yeah, so the first 2 times I failed, and she was just like, you know what, take it home. So here we go, this is the box, and inside you get a very handy leaflet, and you also get a CD, oh DVD, sorry, not a CD, that would be really weird, like a soundtrack to someone putting it in. Ugh. So it's a DVD. I actually haven't watched the DVD. She did kind of be like, oh, make sure you tell me what's on the DVD, and I kind of was like, yeah, and then forgot to watch it because I got too excited about using it. So yeah, I've been using it now for I think about a year and a half maybe, and it's absolutely fine. It's great. It's comfortable. You can pop it in, you know, before a night out or something if you're going to go drinking or whatever, so when you come back, if you get lucky or whatever, you know, you're protected and you're safe. Also use condoms as well to protect yourself from STDs or STIs. Obviously, guys, keep it wrapped. So yeah, again, same as the Moon Cup, it's silicone based. You get this gorgeous little case with it as well, which is nice, so you can pop it back in and out. It's like a little clamshell. This is the little pearl, quite cute. Nice for your purse or your bag as well. The only problem that I have with it is spermicide. Spermicide that they give you at the doctor's, I have no idea where the box is right now. It's somewhere in the room, but I am not looking for it. The only problem I have is the spermicide. I find that it burns a little bit and it stings. I'm looking for a natural option. Probably just going to go with I don't know, nothing, or just a bit of coconut oil as lubricant. It doesn't say, I have researched it, it doesn't actually say that the spermicide increases the effectability of it, but it says that you have to use it with it anyway. Don't know why. If it doesn't, well, I suppose it would help with any sort of leakage or anything. I don't know. I'll look into that for you and I'll get back to you. But yeah, it's a really, really good option if you want to go hormone free. If you want to have more control over your fertility. It's good for anyone who is wanting to get pregnant at a certain time. It means that you've got like a safety net when you get off your contraception, like your pill, your hormone treatment, injection patch, whatever you're on. You've got like a window of time where your body can heal. And I found as soon as I got my implants out, I suffered a lot with changes to the body. Obviously coming off 5 years of hormones had some effect to me. My mind was definitely in a better place, but it really, really screwed up my moon time. Like the first couple of cycles were just crazy, like ridiculously crazy. Some of them were like 2 days, which isn't normal for me at all. Followed by like massive gaps, and then all of a sudden there'll be this massive bleed out of nowhere. It made me realise that it had messed me up, or had messed up my body. Even though they say as soon as it's out, you can get pregnant. You probably can, which is great if you want that, but you can see that little time for me, I realised that yeah, my body isn't right, my body isn't healed. So if someone in that same position had just come off the implants and they've got this little bit of time, just that little aftermath, and they can get pregnant, and they do, like your body's not fully healed, like you know, what the implications is that going to be on your child and your birth and everything? I just don't think it's a good option. Like I feel that, for me at least, everybody's different, everyone's got an opinion. I feel for me at least, if I was going to go for pregnancy or anything like that, I'd give myself a good year off hormones or whatever, just to make sure that everything is flushed. And the nurse girl, goodness, woman, she did say to me that it takes about a year for all of that hormone just to eventually like flush out and whatever. And it's been about a year, been over a year, and I feel normal again. My body's starting to get back to normal. That bloating and stuff has disappeared, and the pains in my boobs, and pains in my uterus and things like that. They're gone. I can feel myself ovulating again. I can feel more things. I'm more aware of